Hey everyone, welcome to the new, I don't know if I'll call it season, but let's just call it season of Day in the Life of Vlad. It's been a cool minute. I have been taking a great necessary break for the past couple of months, using this time to sort of gather my thoughts and plan out my next sort of layout of creative series that I'll be working on throughout this entire year. So there's a lot of fun stuff coming up, a lot of it that I'll be taking you guys along with me. But I wanted to do a continuation on something that had started back in the last episode, which was showing you some of the processes that I do when I paint. Now, if you normally follow me on any of my social medias, whether it's the Gram or Twitter or Facebook, I tend to do a couple of time-lapse videos to show some of my process. So I'm back in the studio and I wanted to show more of a continuation of this piece that we kind of started with the last episode. And I'm going to show you how I keep working on it and progressing. So we're going to see two different things. We're going to see me continuing on this piece, and we're going to show a process of how I do when I'm just starting from this sometimes. So I'm super excited to get you guys all involved to see. So yeah, let's dive in a little bit. I think if you've already seen my studio tour video before, you'll recognize everything in the background. But yeah, let me show you a little bit of some of the supplies I'm going to work with again, and then we're just going to straight up dive in. So a couple of things that I normally use when I'm painting, as you saw before, that I do with acrylic painting, but I use palette knives, sponges, paper towels, cloths, all different type of variations to help deliver sort of the look that I want to get into. What I'm going to do today is show another technique that I do in terms of dragging the paint across with the use of cardboard and using various sort of fluid acrylics as well as just some regular acrylic paint. So we're going to get into that for a little bit, and then I will probably do a part 3 to show like sort of the finishing touches to the piece. And these pieces that I'm specifically making or will be working on are actually going to my Patreons. If you didn't know already, I have a Patreon. And I'm not sure if I explained this before to some of the videos prior, but Patreon is a great platform where you can support your fellow creatives. I'm talking bloggers, podcasters, painters, musicians, filmmakers, and it's a great way to be a patron to them, supporting any of their creative endeavors. And you can choose to be sort of like a monthly subscriber to them, or you can choose to be, one-time supporter. With my monthly supporters and like any of the other artists on there, you can give, usually depending on the tier level of support, you get something usually in return. And so for some of my tier members, they get some original art from me. So if you are one of my tier supporters for either the $50 or the $100, you get some original art from me quarterly. So these two panels I'm also prepping to give to one of my patrons. So if you're interested in getting some original art from me also, join my Patreon and you too can get some of these original pieces. All right, now let's get to painting. Okay, so I just, as you saw, started expanding it just a little bit more. I'm going to bring it more closer so you can kind of see it from here, because I know with the time lapse I don't see it as detailed. So this piece is almost done. I know, funny for most folks, they'll be like, it's not done yet, but no. It's almost done. I might add another variable element to it soon. It could possibly be more texture. As you can see the texture layer here. I don't know if you can see it popping up. Or a color. What I tend to do in a lot of my work is sometimes I like to put another sort of disturbing color on it or something to disrupt what's happening when you see it. And that's what I'm feeling here. It needs some disruption, but what I also need to do for now is to let this dry. So we're gonna let this one dry, and then when I come back to it in the next one, we'll work more on adding some more color to it and then sort of finishing it off. But now we're gonna start on this one, and I'm gonna show you a different sort of technique that I'm kind of playing around with right now at the start of this piece. And then, of course, in my next episode, we'll continue working on it. So, yay! Okay, that's all I'm going to do on the second one so far, and so we'll just give you a little bit more detail on what this one is looking like. Actually, really loving how this is coming out, and I know what additional stuff I'm going to do to it, so just giving you a little bit more of a preview of how it looks like, and more additions that I will add into next week's episode. So come back for that, and I'll show you something extra that sometimes I'll put on my pieces to really let it pop. All right, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Please subscribe and like this video. And, let me know in the comments if you want to see me do some more of my La Rouse moments. And then I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.